all the liberation activities. Biba! KUAM News Headlines is presented by Calvo's Insurance, serving Guam for 80 years. Matson and the Adahi Tanu program. Gold sponsors of the Guam Micronesia Island Fair. Cars Plus remind you to put your phone down while driving. Distractions won't get you there. Heads up, Guam. IP&E, fueling excellence. McDonald's of Guam, I'm loving it. And steaks, ribs, seafood, and our famous fresh garden bar. Ruby Tuesday. Good times you can taste.
Coming up on Primetime, 13 of your elected senators call for a pause on all construction and work on ancestral sites at proposed live fire training range area. Plus, find out one of two senators did not sign the resolution. And from a robbery of a store to a burglary at a church in Mighty, police officials are looking to the community for information on the people responsible. Good evening and half a day. 13 of your 15 elected senators in the legislature have signed on to a resolution that looks to call on the governor to call for a pause on all construction and work on ancestral sites at the Navy's proposed live fire training range. Now, while we don't know how long of a pause senators are asking the governor to ask for, we do know why senators are asking for it. Chris Barnett has more.
Resolution 164-35 comes just days after Governor Lulian Guerrero announced she would ask the military for a partial construction pause in an area where the last Sariantes Nelsoni tree lives on the proposed firing range construction site. The governor's call for a pause coming after a closed-door meeting with senators on Friday. Some senators telling KUAM News they were surprised the governor made the call for a partial pause when talks in the closed-door meeting centered on a pause for all construction and archaeological activity at the firing range. KUAM News not allowed to attend the meeting, and we asked if the governor was on the same page as senators.
That's what we are hoping. That is the intent, so that we would be all united at all branches.
Resolution 164 calls on the Magahaga to call for a pause to clearing, pre-construction, data recovery, and construction-related activities at the live fire training range. While the governor said the reason she called for a partial pause was because of the critically endangered fire tree, the military has already cordoned off an area around the tree as part of efforts to collect seedlings.
It's not just the tree. There are other areas that are impacted, other species that are being threatened.
The military's process of handling ancestral sites and artifacts, one of the main topics at a press conference for the resolution at the Guam Congress Hall. Senators saying the programmatic agreement has not always been honored and that the way it allows the military to deal with ancient sites and artifacts is problematic.
Clearing the data, clearing the artifacts, clearing the Lusong, the Lati, that's what happened at Magua. They cleared the area and they did not preserve it in sight. But the intent of the programmatic agreement was that these historic sites would be avoided.
There's a high concentration of our archaeological finds. There's a lot of natural resources that are endemic, that are found nowhere else in the world.
We have to correct it. There are a lot of things in the agreements, the programmatic agreement, the 4 pillars that we're not, steadfast to, what we all agree to.
It destroys a conservation area. That should never be allowed. A conservation area holds something in trust for a community. And that's exactly what they're proposing to bulldoze and clear off the face of the earth.
I think it's becoming more and more obvious, thanks to good reporting, that really, there's a lot the community does not know that is actually going on. There's actually things that even our government agencies that we are completely relying on to do these things and take care of them for us are unable to stop.
And just how long of a pause are senators asking the governor to ask for?
As long as is needed to make sure that all the research is done and that it satisfies the people of Guam.
2 senators, Republicans Mary Torres and Jim Moylan, have not signed on to support Resolution 164, which is scheduled for a public hearing July 3rd at 5 p.m. Senators spending much of the time before the press conference and caucus, as Nelson had first planned to introduce a resolution calling for an indefinite halt on firing range construction, but she says that plan was scrapped in order to get her colleagues to support 164.
We have a greater impact when we speak with one voice.
For Guam's News Network, Chris Barnett reports.
The resolution lists 15 pages of concerns with the construction at the firing range. When we asked Vice Speaker Nelson's office how long the pause would be for, indefinite was her response. Well, one senator who did not support the resolution calling for an indefinite pause on the construction tells KUAM News that we have the military to thank for the discovery, preservation, and protection of ancient sites and endangered species. Here's Jim Olig.
If we didn't have the military doing that for us, we would have never known a lot of those sites even existed.
The freshman policymaker praised the military for doing things that he says GovGuam cannot afford.
There's so much information out there about how the military is helping us with the historical preservations and the environmental preservations that we could, as a government, could never afford to do, even though we want to so badly.
The freshman policymaker also cited the economic impact of a pause on build-up construction.
There's a cost. Every day that we stop this construction project is a contractual obligation that we're not fulfilling. And every day could cost, I'm sure it costs thousands and thousands of dollars.
He's calling for a partnership with the DoD to address the concerns of his colleagues, which he did call justifiable. We've got an extended interview with the senator right now on YouTube, so go check that out. Minority Leader Senator Will Castro is calling for a special investigative committee to study claims his colleagues have made that the military is removing and destroying cultural artifacts and critical habitats. He says he supports the military buildup on Guam, but not at the expense of desecrating our ancestors and, quote, the obliteration of the Chamorro identity. Castro further says he wants to work with stakeholders to ensure the Chamorro people are preserved and protected while ensuring future economic prosperity. Well, meanwhile, the governor does give her take on the military's handling of artifacts found on ancestral lands on build-up construction projects, as senators say they would prefer a preserve-in-place practice when it comes to the military studying artifacts found on sites on build-up related projects. Lulian Guerrero says it comes down to what has been negotiated in the programmatic agreement. The military's current process for artifacts involves removing them from the sites they were discovered in after an archaeological work plan is submitted to the public sector and ultimately approved. But critics say this does not allow for thorough studying of sites and artifacts to be properly conducted.
Whether we can compel them to change the programmatic agreement and to include preserve in place, that's something that, you know, we can look at and discuss. Of course, they'll have to think of, well, what does that mean then with the development, right? Because then that means they can't use that place.
For the time being, the island's chief executive will meet with nearly 24 activist and community groups tomorrow afternoon. They're calling for a pause in the construction of the firing range and for the reinstatement of the State Historic Preservation Officer, Linda Uggan. The groups requested a face-to-face with the governor, and they confirmed with KUAM that that'll happen tomorrow at 4 p.m. Well, it was quite the terrifying moment for employees at San Jose Mart in Mighty, as just before 5 a.m. Sunday, two men, one armed with a machete and the other with a handgun, walked in and robbed the store. Video footage shows the suspect with a machete throwing an employee to the ground and forcing the employee to open a register. The suspect fled with an unknown amount of cash. The suspect with the handgun was wearing, as you just saw, a red hooded sweater, gray pants, and white shoes. The suspect with the machete was wearing a gray hooded sweater, brown shorts, and Zoris. If you have any information, please call 472-8911 or submit a tip at GuamCrimeStoppersWeb.com. Well, and right down the street from San Jose Mart, one church was burglarized not once, but alarmingly twice in the past week. And church members are hoping the persons responsible are ultimately caught. Jodang Acharfers has more.
Lesline Enoch of the Nama Congregational Church said it was on Tuesday evening when they realized the church had been broken into.
I guess they broke into it early in the morning, around 4 or 5, because we came to have youth night Tuesday night, and we found out that the door was broken.
Upon entering the church, which is located behind Smile Market, Enoch said they noticed their keyboard and the offerings from the weekend had been stolen.
The safe was really heavy, like it has to be 2 or 3 people to carry it. So I guess it's a group of people. They came and carried our safe. And yeah, they stole our safe. Donations, offerings were inside the safe.
The keyboard, valued at $2,000, was a recent purchase to replace the one that was stolen when the church was burglarized back in January of this year. Members had held several fundraisers and even used the remaining funds to replace a door that was damaged during the break-in.
Help us find whoever did this so they can put a stop to this. It's not good to steal.
According to Enoch, the church was broken into again on Friday, but there was nothing for the burglars to take. She adds that although the church congregation is scared and frustrated, they will work to fundraise and purchase a new keyboard, which is the main instrument the church uses. If you have any information, you're urged to call GPD Dispatch at 472-8911 or 475-8615. You can also submit anonymously through the Guam Crime Stoppers website at guam.crimestoppersweb.com. Reporting for Guam's News Network, I'm Jonah Gancharfris.
And also tonight, last Friday, police tried to pull over Dennis Lane driving a Toyota Corolla in Agate, and instead, the man with 8 open criminal investigations led the officer on a high-speed chase. Lane sped through stop signs, say court documents, and traffic lights, and even into the oncoming lane before he swerved and hit a police car. When he fled on foot, officers discovered a minor. Lane continued to flee and appeared to flag a pickup down to beg for a ride. He continued to try to hide from police before throwing a rock that struck an officer in the stomach. That police officer was then forced to use a taser to apprehend Lane. He was charged with assault on a police officer with a special allegation of the use of a deadly weapon in the commission of a felony, eluding a police officer, and reckless driving. Well, we are just getting started. Please stay tuned. There is much more coming up after this.
There are more ways to experience Guam via KUAM News, giving you what you want, when you want, and how you want it. From smart devices, Alexa, what's in the news?
Here's your flash briefing.
Over the web, on mobile, on streaming platforms, with immersive, interactive formats, and via social media where it's more than just content, it's conversation. More ways to keep you informed and entertained whenever you want it, wherever you are, on whatever device you're using.
The next generation Galaxy has arrived. See it and believe it. The Infinity O displays the most innovative Galaxy screen yet. Capture the wider world. Take stunning photos with a 123-degree field of vision. Use your phone to charge other wireless charging devices. Don't just stand out, stand apart.
Half the day, I'm in the club.
Half a day, welcome to Two Lovers Point.
Half a day, I'm in the club.
When it comes to power and performance, nothing compares to Dodge. And right now at Cars Plus in Mighty, you can save thousands on many Dodge vehicles in stock during our Dodge Performance Days. Like a new 2019 Grand Caravan SE, save $4,250, or save $6,150 on a new Durango SXT. Looking for more power? Take home a new Charger SXT Plus today for only $37,689, or save over $7,000 on a new Challenger GT. Get more power and performance at Cars Plus in Mighty during Dodge Performance Days. Cars Plus, driven by you.
Matson is in this community. We've been in this community for decades. We're gonna be in this community for decades to come. Things will get busy, things will get quiet, but we're gonna be here. We're your hometown carrier. And that matters to us.
Reliability is the core of our business. We take pride in ensuring that we arrive in Guam on time as scheduled.
It's our local employees who understand the market, who understand the business, and provide that hard work for you each and every day.
When we hold ourselves to high standards, our customers also hold us to high standards. We establish good business relationships that turn into friendships. That's why it's so important to be here and be trusted by your customers. We want you to trust Matson like your friend, like your family.
Nacho Fries Chasing Gold strikes all the right chords. Powerful, gripping, delicious, says The Hollywood Reporter. Critics can't get enough of Nacho Fries. And if you can't either, get Nacho Fries at Taco Bell today.
Tax collections was a major talking point for the Leon Guerrero Tenorio team in 2018, and KUAM now provides an update on what the administration is doing as our Julia Santos gets the facts straight from Rev and Tax.
Magahaga Lou Leon Guerrero promised to make uncollected taxes a priority during her run for Adelup, which was said to have been approximately $200 million at the time. The Department of Revenue and Taxation has faced challenges over the years in carrying out this task, one of which is an insufficient number of revenue officers or tax collectors. Director Daphne Manspit-Shimzu explained that the collections branch is just one of 19 divisions at Rev and Tax, and that it is not the only area that the department generates revenue for the government of Guam.
We're collecting fees in every area. We collect fees in compliance, or our ABC branch. We collect fees in weights and measures, right? We go out and we inspect scales. We collect fees in insurance and banking. They do all of the insurance and banking renewals, real estate licenses, things like that. Our regular business license, they also collect as well, fees there. So, I mean, I think if you go down the line, our BPT branch, our income tax branch, our real property tax branch, our driver's license, motor vehicle, motor carrier. So we collect on all areas.
A misconception of the $200 million in uncollected taxes is that it is concentrated in one area. The total is actually an aggregate of the various forms of taxes or fees the government enforces. With respect to the government tax placed on an individual's income, the director further explained the process in which Rev and Tax has in place for processing.
There are basically three areas where, we work to collect. Of course, up front, you can come in, you have an income tax return, a Form 1040. You come in, you owe a tax, you can go to the Treasurer Guam cashier and you pay there. Now, if someone's not able to pay, or if perhaps there may be an error in a return, then it gets flagged and it goes to our accounting branch, and our accounting branch sends out the first notices. And at that point, sometimes taxpayers come in and pay, and sometimes they don't. And if they don't, then it gets transferred over to our collections branch.
Another obstacle was the increase in rent that Rev and Tax pays for the use of the facility in Barrigada. She says the increase took effect in October of 2018 at the start of GovGuam's fiscal year 2019. The new monthly rate for the facility is $114,000 per month, or $1.36 million per year. Some taxpayers question the justification of the increase, considering the recent issues with the facility's infrastructure, and more alarming, the fact that it was cited by the Guam Fire Department for not being up to fire code in March of this year. Representatives from the facility's landlord have been working diligently to address each of the issues as they come up, and absorbs the cost, which is part of the rental agreement. But despite the added cost to Rev and Tax operations, Director Shimzu has increased collections support.
With regards to hiring revenue officers, we did hire a couple already this year. Also, we had a few people, I think, that were detailed to other areas, which we moved back into our collections branch. So we have actually increased our the number of collections revenue officers in this fiscal year.
According to the director, she says there are now 30 collections revenue officers. KUAM inquired for and is still waiting on a breakdown of the estimated $200 million in uncollected taxes, and if any of that amount has been collected. Reporting for Guam's News Network, I'm Julius Santos.
Elsewhere, a United flight bound for Chuuk made an emergency return to Guam this morning, as the airport says the flight control tower received a call at about 9:20 a.m., about an hour after Flight 155 departed. The pilot advised that a stall indicator light had illuminated and they would be heading back as a safety precaution. The airport says the plane landed safely at Wanpat International just after 10. United says it will fly a special section to Chuuk tomorrow morning to accommodate passengers who return to Guam. The company did apologize, but said the safety of customers is, of course, top priority. Well, once again, Guam is included in a bill to amend the Radiation Exposure Compensation Act. The measure by New Mexico Congressman Ben Ray Lujan allows those who may have suffered exposure to file claims of up to $150,000. It also includes, for the first time, the CNMI and several other states. Robert Celestio, who once worked on the atomic radiation cleanup in the Marshall Islands, has been fighting for more than 20 years to have Guam included. He says the problem has always been funding, but he is confident that this time may be the final charm.
It's been money. Where are they going to find the money to compensate? However, the good thing about it is that in 2020 they always they have a new trust fund, so it's a permanent funding. The only problem right now is that this program ends in 2022. So in 2022, hopefully this amendment will pass that will extend it another 19 years. However, the House bill is different. They want to extend it for another 45 years. So they're going to have to work that out somehow.
He says a 2005 Board of Radiation Research study determined that Guam could have been affected from the fallout from the Marshall's atomic island testing. He says people who lived there from 1946 to 1962 may have suffered exposure. And also tonight, the 30th Pacific Islands Environment Conference kicks off at the Hyatt, and it's already breaking records. Conchita Taitano, the conference coordinator, says there are over 500 registered participants from across the globe. The three-day event officially begins Wednesday with the theme, Greening Growth in the Pacific.
We understand that we're trying to build the economy, but it has to be done in a manner where it promotes green growth, if you will. It doesn't destroy your natural resources.
Expert workshops include solid waste and coral reefs at the helm of the Guam EPA, along with the U.S. and American Samoa EPA and CNMI Bureau of Environmental and Coastal Quality. Stay with us. We are back after this.
Make every day a plus.
Nacho fries chasing gold strikes all the right chords. Powerful, gripping, delicious, says the Hollywood Reporter. Critics can't get enough of nacho fries. And if you can't either, get nacho fries at Taco Bell today.
Guam's auto appearance specialist, Elegant Reflections, has been providing the automotive industry with professional detailing and car care products at its highest quality, from complete detailing, full interior detailing, exterior detailing, headlamp restoration, hand washing, seat and carpet shampoo, engine degreasing, undercarriage cleaning, paint sealant, fabric protection, paint oxidation removal, and so much more. Visit us at our new location. Call 646-5555 for an appointment. Elegant Reflections, Guam's auto appearance specialist, over 20 years of experience.
MTO, professional janitorial services with a warm hospitality touch. MTO gives that gift year-round. Pressure wash roofs, pressure wash driveways, lawn service, home cleaning, carpet restoration, office cleaning, commercial window cleaning, floor care. When cleaning is in order, MTO has you covered. Call 647-6861 to inquire on how you can receive the maintenance you deserve.
MTO, celebrating 30 years with you, Guam.
The next generation Galaxy has arrived. See it and believe it. The Infinity O display is the most innovative Galaxy screen yet. Capture the wider world. Take stunning photos with a 123-degree field of vision. Use your phone to charge other wireless charging devices. Don't just stand out, stand apart.
KUAM Sports is presented by Triple J.
What's up, Guam? Dave Delgado here for KUAM Sports. Thanks for watching. We'll take a look at highlights from this year's Bud Light Guam Women's Tackle Football League Championship game between the Stunners and Legacy in just a bit. But first off, a look at our Olympic weightlifting team getting ready for this year's Pacific Games. Check it out.
Guam's Olympic Weightlifting Federation has been around since 2015. Coach Ed Molinos is the current interim president of the federation. In 2017, Guam brought home 3 silver medals and a bronze medal from the Hidalgo Diaz Weightlifting Open Championships held in the Philippines. At the 2017 Pacific Mini Games held in Vanuatu, Jacinta Sumagase brought home Guam's only medal, a silver in the 59 kg weight class.
We get recognized a lot from the other countries, especially by the presidents of different federations, and they're just like, do you have more lifters? Unfortunately, every time we go out, we can't bring our whole team, but we're able to bring 2 or 3 athletes, and they freak out on what we can do, and they never knew that Guam had lifters. So over the past years, we're hoping to just bring it.
Team Guam has been training hard for the last 6 months in hopes of stepping onto the platform, hitting their numbers, and medaling at this year's Pacific Games. Training sessions for the team run 2 to 3 hours a day, 5 days a week. Each athlete has dropped the weight class, but has still managed to keep their power. In the sport of Olympic weightlifting, it's a numbers game, and Team Guam is locked in, focused on their lifts, and getting stronger at a lighter weight.
Heading towards the games, I feel confident. My goal is to always make sure I do 110% doing our program here, and I always put my heart out, and I want to make sure that by the time we leave Guam, I want to secure my lifts.
Guam participated in the 2018 Oceania Weightlifting Championships held in New Caledonia, making history for the island, garnering 4 medals, 1 gold, 2 silver, and a bronze. The 2019 Pacific Games for weightlifting will also be combined with the Oceania Weightlifting Championships, so Team Guam will be represented in 2 major competitions at the same time. 3 of Team Guam's lifters have already qualified for the 2019 IWF World Weightlifting Championships.
Individually, we're all extremely pumped. We, of course, want to beat our last platform number, so we're excited to compete with the best in the Oceania region. This all wouldn't be possible without the guys in the back, because we all motivate each other, we pump each other up every lift, we give it our all, 110%, so we're pretty excited to go out as a team.
Team Legacy is now 8-time defending champions, dominating the women's football scene here on island. The Stunners have fell short of dethroning the champs for 2 straight seasons. TJ Rodriguez led the Stunners at quarterback in her team's 26-22 loss at the UOG field. Legacy's running game proved to be the difference maker. Alana Garcia's 3 touchdowns and Paige Serber's rushing TD sealed the deal for the league's top team. Dana Beneventi, back from injury, controlled the offense for Legacy. The 8-time defending champions will now rest up and regroup during the off-season and look forward to the 2020 Guam Women's Tackle Football League. Legacy will be on a quest for 9 straight titles.